Hey there, welcome to CNT Collectibles. I am C. Hope you are doing well. All right, it is that time of year. It's time for the Hall of Fame Tracker series. This is what I do in the off season to put together a shopping list, see who might be on the path of Hall of Fame eternal relevance, who's fallen off the path, who's up and coming, and this is where I choose to put my money in baseball cards. So I like to have fun, rip packs and PC and do all that kind of good stuff. But if I do anything a little bit larger dollar amount, that I want to make sure that it's going to have some staying power here. So I'm happy to present my thought process with you here. Take it or leave it, do whatever you want, but let's just have some fun here. So the primary metric that I use is wins above replacement. It's kind of the starting point. There's a lot of other things that go into it, but this is the one stat that really does a nice job of encompassing everything, makes a nice apples to apples comparison of players. Not across time or anything like that, but there's a way to kind of figure that out. But again, it's a starting point, and if there's one metric that kind of encompasses everything that we're looking for, I think this one does a pretty good job here. So I think most people are pretty familiar with WAR, but it is wins above replacement again. So there's an average, or not an average, but replacement level player that produces 0 wins above replacement, and the farther you get away from that number, the better the player you are. If you're able to put up 4 or 5 wins in a season, you are an all-star level player. If you're putting up 7 or 8 wins in a given season, you are typically a Hall of Fame, or excuse me, an MVP level player. And if you do that over a long enough period of time, then you're a Hall of Fame level player. So again, Hall of Fame, you be good, do it for a really long time. There you go, get a few awards along the way, and you're good to go here. So the highest wins above replacement in a given season, going back 140 years, it vacillates somewhere between 8 and 12 runs in a given season. Babe Ruth had a bit of an outlier here back in the day. Aaron Judge is usually at the top of the range. And the interesting thing is, over time, if you look at the top 10 players in a given season in terms of WAR production, that is trending downwards over time here. So when you're making these comparisons of today's players, it's not fair to say, well, geez, Babe Ruth and Willie Mays were 150, 160 wins above replacement type players. That's just not it's probably not going to happen, as the replacement level player has gotten quite a bit better over the years, and you can see again that disparity is trending lower, and you can see it here. So if we look at Babe Ruth era, 629 OPS with 3 home runs and a 250 average, was kind of a replacement level player. And today we're looking at players like Charlie Blackmon with a 733 OPS, 265 average, and 16 home runs. In 2024, Rhys Hoskins and Josh Bell were your replacement level players, and they were pretty good players. And so the replacement level players gotten a lot better. So it's fair to say that we don't need to hold these current day players to the standards of Hall of Fame players from back in the day here. So anyways, in the Hall of Fame, we have 84 pitchers. Most wins belongs to Cy Young with 511. Most strikeouts, Nolan Ryan, 5714. Most shutouts belongs to the Twins now, Twins history at least, but Walter Johnson with 110. 300 win club, 23 players are in there, and 14 players in the 3,000 strikeout club. So for our purposes, we're going to be looking at the 19 players that have been inducted into the Hall of Fame via the Baseball Writers Association of America, i.e. voted in their first 10 years of eligibility. In a lot of cases here, much faster than that. But we're gonna take the average of those guys and see if the current crop of players can at least approach what they did. So we have 19 pitchers in that group. The average wins above replacement is 84.46. Greg Maddux has the highest with 116 WAR. Average Cy Young number of Cy Young awards is 1.74. 6 of them don't even have a Cy Young award, and the big unit has 5 of them. So again, the averages. So if you can be below the average, you can be above the average. That's fine. We just want to get these guys close. So average All-Star game appearances just over 7. Tom Seaver had 12 of them, and the average number of Ks just over 3,100. Nolan Ryan, of course, skewing that number there. So pitchers by age tend to start peaking around age 25, and that goes on for about a decade here. So what we want to see is if we can get guys that as they enter their peak, maybe they got a little bit of goodwill banked up, and then if they can average something around 5 wins on an annual basis for that 10-year period, then we think that they're well on their track here. When they get to 35, if they can wind up with something roughly around 55, 60 WAR, something like that, and then have a few years of average level production, then I think that's these days probably enough to get them in, as long as they have some hardware to go along with it. All right, we've got a few players that are up and coming, worth watching, but they're not going to be on my list to take them terribly seriously until they've got 10, 15 wins above their to their name here, see if they can get off to a decent start. And of course, Paul Skeens is going to lead up this list. He's coming up. This is what you look for in a generational no-brainer type player. You come up early and produce. And so he's coming up at age 22 with 4.3 Fangraphs WAR to his name here. Average Hall of Famer has 4.5 wins above replacement. So his prices are, are reflected commensurately. So probably a player that will sit and watch. If he can keep this up without getting hurt for the next 15 years, then he's a generational type player. There might be some hiccups along the way, and that's what I'll wait for to get involved with him. But Hunter Green, Gray Rod, Tanner Bibby, Brendan Pfaadt, number of players that are kind of on this list here. So these are just a few of the examples here, but we'll watch them and see what they can do over the next couple of years and see if they can kind of get it done here. A high level target for me would be someone that's at least got 50 or 50 to 75% of the production of an average Hall of Famer, and so Hunter Green would be probably the next big target for me on that list, and we'll kind of see how he progresses. So a number of players that are they're very good pitchers, but they're off the track for now. A couple of big seasons can certainly correct it, but again, you want to monitor this and be mindful. So Tariq Skubal, monster year, probably going to add a Cy Young award to his resume. But again, we want to be careful about paying a high price as to some players that are a little bit more on a bit more of a solid track because of recency bias here. So Dylan Cease, 28 years old, he has 17 wins to his name, and the average Hall of Famer has 31 at this point. So off the track, but again, we don't think he needs to be an 84 or 85 win player. Can he be three quarters of that or something? So again, just off of that pace here, but he's got a top 5 Cy Young finish. He needs to average 5.34 wins above replacement on an annual basis to age 35 to get to that kind of 55 number where we want to start taking him kind of seriously. Again, Skubal right in that range as well. He needs to average 5.31 wins on an annual basis to get to that 55 by 60, and then again age gracefully from there. Cole Ragan, Zach Gallen, Corbin Burns, Sandy Alcantara, a lot of players that are kind of in that same mold here, and the list doesn't. Of course, there's more players here, but I just want to give you an idea of what we're looking for here. Shane Bieber, Pablo Lopez, similar players to this, where they're going to have to average more than what the peak pitcher's able to produce over that peak time. So a couple of Cy Young awards for Burns and Alcantara. That's going to help if they're close, be a nice tiebreaker on them. So again, we'll monitor if they can put up a couple monster seasons. Skubal did it, Ragans did it, Gallen had a very nice season as well. Then we'll reevaluate. So it's important to do this at least on an annual basis. So coming up in the Hall of Fame voting for this year, at least, we've got a couple of interesting candidates. CC Sabathia, 3,000 strikeouts, Cy Young, 6 All-Star games, so he'll get in. First or second vote, who knows? But he should get in pretty quickly. So this may be one of the. I haven't really looked at his card prices or anything like that, but maybe it's time to do something about that, or one of your last chances before you get that pop. Now, if you wait a little bit after, then kind of fades back into a little bit more irrelevance. But it's a name to consider there, and I don't think it's any surprise that he gets in. So Billy Wagner, in his final year of eligibility, is the 8th most saves of relievers all time. There's a couple of guys, only the top 3 guys are in the Hall of Fame, so it's not like that's a guarantee being in the top 10 by any stretch here. But 7 All-Star games, and he may get a final year bump. And Felix Hernandez, who was the best pitcher on the planet for a number of years here, but I don't think he did it long enough. The WAR isn't really commensurate, but he does have a Cy Young and 6 All-Star games. But again, there's a lot of players with similar resumes that aren't in, and I think again, you have to be good and you have to do it for a long time if you want to be seriously considered. So I don't know how long he hangs out there. We've got a few Veterans Committee guys that are also coming up. If you look at like a Louis Tiant or something like that, it might be time to consider them before they get their Hall of Fame bumps. So let's take a closer look at some players that are on a decent track, at least for now. And we'll start off with George Kirby, who's 26 years old. He needs to average 4.84 wins above replacement to get to that 55 win total by age 35, and then again decline kind of gracefully. So 11.5 wins above replacement, and Hall of Famer has about 21 at age 26. So he's halfway on the pace here. Again, come up a little bit later, but he's tracking pretty well. He's got an All-Star game to his credit, and so see if he can maintain that trajectory. Again, we would expect during his peak years to to have a couple, Cy Young level seasons. It doesn't necessarily need to get the award, but have that level, and get closer to that line and track it, and do it for a while, and you're good to go. So off to a fine start he is. Logan Webb with a top, it was a top 2 finish last year in the Cy Young Awards, got an All-Star game, and he had another nice season this year. He's averaged 4.63 wins above replacement over the next 7 or 8 years to get to that 55, and you can see that he's got a little tighter trajectory to that average Hall of Famer. 18 wins. The average Hall of Famer has 26 wins to this point, and so you're kind of at that 2/3 threshold or something like that. A little bit better than that 70% of the pace, and so that's what we're looking for here. And he's been pretty consistent those first couple of years. So stay healthy and keep doing what you're doing, and he'll get some pretty good run over the next few years here. So Spencer Strider took a year off, unfortunately, and it sounds like he's going to be delayed to his start next year. He got off to a terrific start to his career, no question. He was really the best pitcher in the game for his first couple of years here, but the injury takes him off the track. I mean, he was on a generational track, so no reason he can't come back by any stretch here, needing to average just 4.8. Not just, that's a big number, but for him, it hasn't been any problem. 4.5 wins on an annual basis. He's 2/3 of the track of the 2/3 of the pace of the average Hall of Famer at this point, with a All-Star game and I think he was number 2 in the Cy Young Award. I think honestly, who won it here? Why can't I think of his name? He's even on this list here. But whatever. Yeah, he was number 2, and the winner owes him a Cy Young Award here. So, but anyways, if he can come back and start continue what he's doing, then he'll get back on track. But he's got the 2 Tommy John surgeries, and it's just going to be I don't know if he has another injury. I'm not sure how many players have had 3 and come back and produce at a high level for a long time. So the trick is can you go the next 10 years and be really healthy? It's like, well, that might be a little too much to ask here. So we'll see. We'll see how that one goes. But tread lightly, I guess, on that one here. Aaron Nola has been remarkably consistent during his time in the league, on a very nice trajectory and a pace. Doesn't have a lot of hardware though. A couple top 5 finishes in an All-Star game. He's averaged 4.5 wins, but he's been pretty durable and he's been pretty consistent. So this could be a player that's on the outside edge of Hall of Fame voting. Honestly, there just aren't a lot of pitchers right now that are on the track. You've got a couple no doubters, but then it gets a little bit sparse. Roy Halladay was the last guy to get elected by the Baseball Writers Association. That was 2019. So pitchers, it's a little bit tougher. But if you go too long, then guys like this will get some consideration. But again, he's at least tracking pretty well, and he's got some awards. But if he can finish strong here and put up a couple more good seasons, then he'll at least get some consideration. And he's on a similar track to this guy, but the difference is this right here. So Garett Cole also. Whoops. Let's go back here. Yeah, just a quick review, I guess. But it's been a little while since I've done this here, so there's going to be some hiccups, right? So, anyways, 33 years old, needs 4.5 wins on an annual basis over the next couple years to get to that 55 wins above replacement here. So average Hall of Famer, 57 wins at this point. So he's actually, again, kind of similar to Aaron Nola. He's tracking pretty well here, but he's got a Cy Young, 6 top 5 finishes, and 6 All-Star games. And so that will be the difference maker if you're close, looking at all that hardware and Cy Young Award. So you could see these guys finish with pretty similar numbers under the hood, but that will be the difference maker if one gets in and one doesn't. And kind of surprising, Chris Sale. He hasn't really pitched since 2019, did a little bit last year, and then this year, Cy Young Award probably. So he was on a generational path up until that point, and then he got injured and missed a lot of time. I mean, this is a guy that would probably be number 2 to like a Clayton Kershaw or something like that had he been able to keep it going over the past few years. But gosh, he was able to get right back on the track here. So he's 35 years old, and he basically has the 55 that we're looking for. So when you put him in context with a lot of these other players, it's like, well, he's where they need to be, and he's already done it. So 2,400 strikeouts, 54 wins. Average Hall of Famer's got 65. 6 top 5 finishes, 8 All-Star games, and he's about to add a Cy Young Award to that resume. And so what we're looking for out of him is not a whole lot. Well, for him, it's a whole lot. It's a big ask For most players, not so big, but for him, it's a big ask. Can you go like 3 more years and be healthy and just be at a decent production level here? We don't need the Cy Young level, but can you be a 3-4 win player for the next couple of years and just kind of fade off from there? So it's again, for a lot of players, it's not asking the biggest, but for Chris Sale, it's like, well, there's dice to be rolled on that one here. But gosh, he's sure got for the players that aren't in, he's got the one of the better tracks here. He and Garett Cole. So get into some no-brainers here. But yeah, Blake Snell. Why couldn't I think of his name earlier? Yes, Blake Snell. You owe Spencer Strider one of your Cy Young awards. So, anyways. Jacob deGrom, 36 years old, best pitcher on the planet when he pitches. He just hasn't done that very much. A couple Cy Young awards, 6 top 10 finishes, couple of top 10 MVPs and 4 All-Star games. And so if he had able just to cruise along, he'd have a pretty great case. But he's light in the wins area, which I don't think matters too much anymore. But the strikeouts are light. The 2 Cy Young awards, and people will point to that. But there's a number of players that have 2 Cy Young awards, and they aren't in the Hall of Fame. Denny McLain, Brett Saberhagen, Johan Santana, Tim Lincecum are some of those examples. So 2 Cy Young awards is not enough. Again, you have to be good, but you have to do it for a long time as well. So he's satisfied one of those. He's really, really good. But I don't think the longevity is quite there to get him in. So there's still time. See if he can figure this out. But that time is kind of running out a little bit here. And Blake Snell, he's ripped it up the back half of a couple of seasons. Got a couple of Cy Young awards, but he's just got one All-Star game to it. So again, that's a player that he's 31 years old. He's got time to produce and add some more accolades, All-Star games, things of that nature. But short of getting another Cy Young award, where if you have 3 Cy Young awards, there isn't anybody out there that has 3 and it is not in. So that's not a decision I would want to make with these with 24.5 WAR, 1,300 strikeouts, and if he adds another Cy Young award, it's like, well, that's it's getting a little shaky here. So I'm glad I don't have to make that decision, but. Again, having 2 by itself is not enough there. So let's wrap it up with some no doubters here. Zach Greinke, maybe there's a little bit of doubt, but I think for the most part, not much doubt here. So he's 66 wins above replacement, just shy of 3,000 Ks. He's got a Cy Young, 3 top 5 finishes, 6 All-Star games, 6 Gold Gloves, and what the heck, a couple Silver Sluggers here. So I don't think there's much doubt about this guy, and I think. When you look at his numbers, there's a fey players. If you look at Chris Sale, and this is why I set my marker just a little bit shy of that 84 wins or whatever it is, because I think you can get into the mid 60s and get it done here. So that Garett Cole, Chris Sale area, I think they're tracking pretty well with Zach Greinke, so let's see if they can do it. Again, he was on a generational type path, and he slowed down the past few years, but he did enough early to kind of bank those Hall of Fame votes, I believe here. And then the last 3 guys we don't need to spend a whole lot of time on. So obviously, Verlander, Scherzer, and Kershaw, between them, 690 wins, 9,700, almost 9,800 strikeouts, 230 wins above replacement, 9 Cy Youngs, 3 apiece, I believe. 27 All-Star games and a couple of MVPs. Those are your no-doubters there. So, again, don't have to think too hard about it. You just fun to see that trio pitch over the years, to get to watch that. And again, when you look at that up-and-coming list, it's like, wow, there are not a whole lot of guys like that anymore here. So, anyways, that's what I got for you. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll get back to you with some catchers in the near future here. Have a great rest of the day.